was a rough one. Week 2 was a rough one, but not for just you in the back, Bob in the back, me, for everybody. It was rare, and you saw a couple teams in your league that had like 200, 170 if you stacked a bunch of players from the same matchup. But you saw everybody that thinks, oh, I did bad, I bombed. Take a look around. Week 2 should not be a good barometer as to what, or a harbinger as to what is to come in the remaining weeks. Week 2 had the amount of busts we've never seen before. Statistically, it was the worst fantasy football week I can remember in some time. Hit your thumbs up button on the way in the door. I mean, we had CMC salvage his day. What's up, Payne? CMC salvage his day with that 50-yard run near the end of the game. But we had CMC, DeAndre Swift, do fairly well, but they didn't do amazing. Lost by 4 points. Diggs and Bills D crushed me. Sorry about that, Avi. So CMC and Swift didn't have the worst days ever, but they didn't have great days. Okay, so those are like the two guys that did fairly well, but not great. They're potential buy lows because they didn't explode. But you had Saquon Barkley, nothing, 9 carries. You had Eckler, nothing. Devontae Adams, virtually nothing. JJ, not good at all. Kyle Pitts, Burrow, Jamar Chase, Najee Harris. List goes on and on and on and on and on. Barkley, Henry. So, grand scheme, you had most of the entire top 2 rounds in fantasy football laying an egg in week number 2. So we have to be very careful not to try and extrapolate week 2, what's up, East Coast, into the remainder of the year with our expectation level with some of these guys. We're entrenched into, what's up, Nathan? We're entrenched into the buy low and sell high season. This is what it's all about. This is where it's time to really dig in and absolutely, absolutely take advantage of some of these buy low opportunities and sell some of the opportunities like James Robinson, who is averaging 33.8 yards per carry, but the touchdowns are there. And so his story looks a lot different than Cam Akers' story, who's also averaging low yards per carry, but the touchdowns aren't there. So I'm not saying J-Rob isn't a good hold or a decent play in the right situation, but we need to know when to sell a player when we can get max value. And J-Rob's one of those guys. There are a handful of guys that are, handfuls of guys that are a mixed bag of you keep them if you can't get the right value, or you sell them if you can get the right value. And in my examples last week, which anybody that passes by randomly, like a casual, and they hear me say something like, you could trade JJ. What? You never trade JJ. You never trade JT. You never trade this guy or that guy. Context matters, Bob. Context matters, Bob. And if you can't win, if you look yourself in the mirror, and as I always say, you walk by the hallway mirror on your way to the bathroom and you look at yourself for a second and you take a double take and you say, you filthy animal, why did you draft, Allen Robinson in round 4? Or why did you trust this guy or that guy? And maybe even that's me for a minute or two when I say, why did you expect Joe Burrow to explode? No, I still like Joe Burrow. But my point is, we might all be looking at ourselves in the mirror with some of our teams. And we draft a lot of teams. Some of us have good teams. Some of us have bad teams. I have a mixed bag of teams. I have some teams that are going crazy, 2-0, scoring 200 points this week, scoring 170 last week. I'm flying high in some of my leagues. And I do have a handful of the 12 or so that I have, like 4 or 5 of them are expert leagues, a handful are other leagues. I have a handful of leagues where I'm not doing the best yet through week 2, but I'm not too worried because I still love my players. You need to decide and look and do an honest inventory on your team and say to yourself, hit that thumb up button. We got 100 people in here, only 33 thumbs up. You got to say to yourself, can I win? Can I win? Am I the best team? Honestly, am I the best team in my league? Or am I even in the conversation for being the best team in my league? If the answer is no, then you have to divide one player into 2. I'm sorry, it's the brutal truth. Maybe you don't want to trade JT. Maybe you'd rather fight for second place. That's fine. But if you want to win and you honest assessment, don't think your team can go the distance, you better look to divide and conquer. You speak on Dalvin Cook. I'm worried about him not just having a role. Do we hold? What's the foreseeable forecast for Cook moving forward? I mean, he was on my Akers, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, and Cam Akers were my 4 busts for the year. And Fournette, 5. My top 5 busts for the year. So far, so good on that list, and I don't mean that in a celebratory way. But I didn't love Dalvin Cook, bro. There's a lot that concerned me about Dalvin Cook. The offense was changing. I see him as a good buy low candidate right now. There are opportunities to buy guys that I say avoid once their values hit a rock bottom level. On thefantasyfootballshow.com, my bust predictions, there are 4 or 5 of them, and Cook is on there. Cook's like number 2 or number 1. No, number 2 or 3. And so Cook is a guy I did not go near. Whenever I had a chance to stay away from him, I did. And I think cuffing him to Madison protects you a little bit, but at the same time, part of my concern was the offense changing. Not just because they would throw so well and not involve him as much, but because they would end up, you don't know if it's going to jive well. Like tonight didn't look good, and you're changing something that isn't broken. Why try and fix what isn't broken? So I felt a little bit of that uneasiness. And then on top of that, he's got the off the field issue, which probably won't come into play, but it could. And then he's got the shoulder, which one hard hit and that shoulder comes out of socket. And if he tears the labrum, he can't play on it and he'd be out for the year or for, a month or 2 or whatever, depending on the severity and the grade of the tear. So there's a lot of reasons to avoid Dalvin Cook walking into week 1. But there's also a lot of reason to go buy him right now if his owner is freaking out. So definitely look to buy him low in certain places and look to sell him. What can you sell Dalvin Cook for? To be frank, the only thing you can do is go after Dalvin Cook. Avi, I'll look for your super chat here right now. All you got to do is go after Dalvin Cook using another data player, and then maybe you got to throw something in to spice it up. But like a player like Alvin Kamara, who sat out and disappointed his owners, and you've got a little question mark about going after and getting Kamara. You got the opposite off the field potential problems that could emerge with Alvin Kamara. You also have a situation where Alvin Kamara, is injured right now and may or may not miss another week. I would guess he won't, but you're running the risk by trading for him. You have to know that. But if you don't believe in Dalvin Cook, Kamara might be a decent, swap for you. CMC, Eckler, you can go across to another position if you want, or you could draft another doubted running back or trade for another doubted running back. I trade Mike Williams and Waller for St. Brown and Schultz. Give me St. Brown all day. He's just on another level, bro. He's just on another level. He's the mayor of the moon. He's the mayor on the moon right now. Maybe even they're sending him to Mars to be the president, the commander in chief of the Mars battalion. This guy's a phenomenal player, and he's doing everything we thought he's everything we thought he'd be and more. He looks fantastic. Starting Pierce over ETN, absolutely. Pierce looked like he was running with aggression and purpose. They gave him a little more work. Once they start feeding Pierce more, the stats have to be there. He's so aggressive. He's such a tough runner. If you don't think he's a good runner, you aren't watching. You aren't watching. I love Dameon Pierce. He still looks very, very strong. Lost this week because of him. I'm not sure who you mean, but I feel for you, bro. ETN disappointing. You got to bench ETN until further notice. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We got to adjust and adapt and react, and I think that's one thing to react on right away. Whereas some of these other things, like Kyle Pitts, we got to be patient with Kyle Pitts. You got to trade for Kyle Pitts on the low. Lenny 24 rushing attempts. He got a good outlook this year. Nathan said, I don't know. He's injured right now. I don't think he's got a good outlook this year. I mean, he's a big avoid for me in general. They've lost both guards. They've lost their center. They've lost They've lost Evans. Mike Evans is out for week number 3, suspended. So, I don't know that Fournette's got amazing value in my opinion at all. I'd sell him high if you could. Is Garrett Wilson a wide receiver 1 on the waiver wire? Yeah, I'll be recording that video and dropping that in the morning. I may drop it later than I thought, but we'll see when I do that premiere. But absolutely, 100%. Garrett Wilson's got to be the number one waiver wire guy, unless someone weird is on your waiver wire like Kenneth Walker, which we'll talk about. Who should I pick up to replace Trey Lance? I mean, who's available? I need to know who's out there. Davis Mills had no touchdowns in week number 2. He disappointed a lot of people. He'll probably be cut in a lot of leagues, so he is a potential option. You can't judge him only and solely off week 2. He scored 2 touchdowns in week number 1. He was very good last year. So if you're in desperate need, that's a good one. Pickett could be starting for the Steelers soon. I don't know that that's an amazing option out of the gate, but it's one option. Malik Willis, I think, could start week number 3, or he may not. We don't really know, but eventually he gets in there, and I think if he's prepared to be the starter for a whole week, maybe he does a little bit better. Not to mention it was just a tough game. Pitts for your Debo, that's not buying Pitts low. You're buying Pitts at higher value than you drafted. If you're gonna trade Debo, who was a mid-second round pick that probably retains his second round value, if not a little bit higher, because people love him more with Jimmy, because then the team leans on him more because they don't trust Jimmy to throw the football. So Debo becomes maybe at least equal in value. And Pitts was a third, almost fourth rounder, and is one of the biggest busts in everyone's eyes. And you're going to sell Debo for Kyle Pitts? You know what I mean? You can't do that. You're buying Kyle Pitts at a ridiculous value. You don't need to buy him at. You're basically trying to hand someone a $50 bill for their 20. Would you trade high on Mike Williams and J-Rob? Those are the two. Payne, those are probably the 2 best sell high players in fantasy football week number 2, coming out of week number 2, because Mike Williams went off. He's very inconsistent. Keenan Allen will be coming. I don't know if Keenan Allen will be back this week or not. We'll play that by ear. J-Rob, again, 3.8 yards per carry, getting touchdowns, sell high. Not saying to give him away or drop him. He could still continue to score touchdowns and be valuable. But lost Trey Lance, grabbed Trevor Lawrence on waivers. Absolutely. Trevor Lawrence could be a very, very viable quarterback option for you. But, of course, it matters who else is on waivers. Who can you trade for? Tua is just getting started, though. I like Tua a lot more than I did, bro. But those Tua glasses are actually real prescription lenses. I mean, is it really Tua, or is it the combination of Tua's not great but good, and he has great talent? It doesn't matter. The answer is it doesn't matter. The answer is you can't separate Tua from a situation. His situation and him are one and the same, and it's time to believe. You adjust and adapt. Am I wrong about Tua? From a fantasy perspective, I am. And Tua should be grabbed, held, coddled, congratulated, put in your lineup if you have a sketchy option anyway. Absolutely. It is what it is. Tua looked fantastic, and I'm happy for Mike McDaniel. He was the better coach. The Niners should have kept McDaniel. They didn't, and everybody laughs at me when I say that. That's in a Niner community. But McDaniel, you're going to laugh at me. You're going to laugh at me when I say McDaniel's the better coach. You kept the wrong coach. You're going to laugh at me when he just did what he did on Sunday. And, yeah, you can call it week 2 only, Smitty, blah, blah, blah. I've seen enough out of Shanahan to know the answer to that question. Which one you should have kept. Like, give me a break. Everyone's calling for Shanahan's neck. Half the fan base wants him gone. Tua is looking amazing, and Mike McDaniel made that happen because he was aggressive, and he traded for Tyreek Hill. Hurts is looking like a top 3 quarterback in fantasy football, not top 5. He was in our top. He was number 5. Moon Man. Hurts is looking phenomenal. I think he's probably locked into the top 3 going forward, and he's better than Lamar. Lamar's looking good. I admit I had my doubts about this offense jiving really well before, because Hollywood Brown getting pulled from the squad, getting traded off to Arizona, and then worrying about how it's all going to go. I still worry very much about Lamar getting hurt. But if you throw that red flag to the wind and you say to yourself, hey, Lamar looks fantastic right now. Bateman looks good. I'm on board this train for now. I'm definitely worried about injury, but let me tell you something. I still believe Hurts is better than Lamar, but they're both amazing. Hurts is like Lamar. Oh my God, Hurts is a phenomenal fantasy football quarterback. They're both amazing. What about second part of my question? Payne, I'm sorry. Let me see. Payne, was it in a super chat? If not, I'm not going to be able to find it. Can you just ask it again and put a couple question marks next to it? Murray is epic. He's definitely epic. Murray looked good. DJ Moore or Sutton and DJ Moore for Chase. I'd take Chase in a heartbeat. That's awesome. Lamar got hurt on a passing play last year, Smitty. I get that. People say that all the time. Doesn't mean that he's not more prone to injury because he's running and putting his body through the ringer, bro. That's the whole point. But I mean, he was injured last year. He runs a ton. You run over 150 times a season, you're going to be prone to injury. That's just the bottom line. Josh Allen's prone to injury. Josh Allen's going to put himself on a cart if he's not more careful with how he runs the ball. Josh Allen's more reckless than any other quarterback that runs the football in the National Football League. So I'm worried about Josh Allen getting hurt because that guy's reckless with his body, absolutely reckless. Send a super. Okay, let me go find it. Hold on. Payne says Mike Williams or J. Rob. Who do I? So if so, who do I aim for that buy low? J. Rob and Mike Williams. I mean, you might get a Kamara. You might get Eckler if you add a little more. People are very, very down on these two. You might get I'm trying to think. It's weird because there's not a lot of wide receivers right there. You know, they're you're either a wide receiver 1 or you're a wide receiver 3. It seems. You know, there's no Tyreek Hill was the last wide receiver hanging below top 25 overall value, walking into week number 2. That ship has sailed. So you could have got a Tyreek Hill last week for this package right here, and now you can't. Now you can't even sniff it. Now you can't even get to the table. Did I answer Avi's all of Avi's question? Let's see. Trade. I answered Avi's. Mike Williams and Waller for St. Brown. I take St. Brown in a heartbeat. I like that. And Payne, I got the rest of your question. I mean, I don't know who. I'd have to think on it more, but I think you probably Kittle should be back. Yeah, I think you probably need to explore like a Jamar Chase could maybe be that cheap. A Kamara, a CMC, and Eckler. Even a Dalvin Cook that's where I would be okay with buying low on Dalvin Cook, even though he's a big avoid for me. That's a good risk level to come in at, especially if you can get Madison. Paying giving donations, give this man an answer. I did, Nathan. Let's see here. Knox or Pitts? I have Ertz. I mean, Pitts, come on. A third rounder. You guys spent a third round pick on him, and after 2 weeks, we're ready to draw conclusions on Pitts not being a starter. Come on. Sell or hold Henry. I mean, sell him if you can, but I mean, you can't give him away, or what are you going to do? How are you going to win? You'd be better off banking on Henry proving everybody wrong and bouncing back and then selling him later than selling him low. Tuno waiting on Pitts and ETN. Nice job, Terry. Nice job, bro. That's phenomenal. Good to hear it. I mean, a lot of you are crushing it. You're leaving comments in the chat. It makes me feel good. You guys are balling out, even with a couple of struggling players. What do you think about dealing Naji and Amon Ra for CMC and AJ Brown? I would probably strongly consider that move. As much as I love Amon Ra St. Brown, I do not trust Najee Harris at all. Part of me wonders if you can leave the wide receivers out of that, but I love AJ Brown too. But Amon Ra is on another level right now. We'll see where Amon Ra's ranking in a couple weeks. Maybe right now people are still apt to keep him out of their top 5. But just wait. If he continues to do this, people are going to eventually put him in that top 5. Is he a good sell high? It depends on what your team needs. Can you win right now? If not, why not ride the wave that is Amon Ra, Sun God, St. Brown? Garrett Wilson, the new number 1 in New York. Yeah, but with Zach Wilson coming back, you have to wonder at least what's going on. You got Amon Ra and Pittman. Good. Pittman should be back, I believe, this week. Who should I get for Nick Chubb? I would use Nick Chubb to get 2 players. I'd go get an A.J. Dillon and then look at that team and see what wide receiver you can get, because you should be able to get Chubb and AJ Dillon and a big wide receiver. Or go after a Jamar Chase and see if you can get like a Damian Pierce or a Breece Hall or a Kenneth Walker on top of that. Like, you should be able to get a lot for Chubb. Chubb should get you Jamar Chase and a running back, a viable AJ Brown type running back. You could get. I know, because I'm helping people on my text line do it all day long. Some are getting rejections and they got to go back to the drawing board and cook up new offers. But I'm telling you for sure, today alone, I've helped 2 people get AJ Brown and Jamar Chase for Nick Chubb, and one of them had to give up nothing else. One of them gave up it was like a wide receiver 3 of some kind that I didn't even care about. Noah Brown will be on the waiver wire rankings, but I don't know how much I'm going to be excited about, grabbing him. I need to experience Smitty at the bars. Would be lit. Yeah, I'm pretty funny when I'm tipped back a couple. How should I feel about the trade I told you about, Smitty? Waddle for Pierce. I mean, Waddle over Pierce by a mile, the way that Waddle's playing right now, bro. But I like Pierce, but as a buy low, that's not buying low. Drop penny, 10-team league. I mean, depends on for. I need to know the details. It depends on for what. No one trades in my league. We are all waiver wire. That sucks. Don't trade Waddle for Pierce unless you need a running back. Still don't even do it. You can get more. I love Pierce, but you can buy Pierce low. Trade Henry for Javonte and Knox. You have Schultz. Yeah, I probably would do that. Yeah, I'd try and get more if you can. But Henry for Kirk and Kelsey, I'd probably take Kelsey and Kirk, bro. Drop Renfro for Davis. I don't know if I drop Renfro. Latest thoughts on Pitts and DK. I love both of them as a buy low. I love DK a little less right now. He's disappointing, but it's only 2 weeks in. He's a monster. He's a beast. I think he could still, rebound. Daddy's running laps. That's cool. It's good for you. I got Kamara for Harris. I do like that. There's risk involved, but I mean, at this point, I feel like the risk of Kamara is lower than the risk of Naji, to be honest. I need a defense kicker for this week. Any suggestions? I don't know, bro. Dallas got dropped in a lot of leagues, and they're pretty good pickup, but past that, I mean, I'd have to take a look at it all. It'd be something I'd have to break down with you and ask a more detailed question. Like, give me in the YouTube comments on the video at the end of a list of defenses and a list of kickers. But with kickers, pick up the highest scoring kicker in your league. You know what I mean? Like, kickers are easy. I got to plug my phone in, so I got to sit in the car. My phone. I have. My phone is My phone is always on like 20% on a good moment. Are you a cook? No. Am I a cook? No. I do fantasy football for a living, bro. I'm live like all the time. I don't have time to cook. I go out and get all my food. What do you think I'm doing right now? Do I look like a cook? Tyreek for St. Brown and Saquon. Yeah, I take St. Brown and Saquon, even though I love Tyreek Hill. Wilson, your take for waivers, 9.5. I don't know if I want to put him at 9.5, but I'll put him at like an 8.5, maybe, or an 8, or at least. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he breaches a 9. He's a darn good pickup. He looks really, really good. I look like a cook. I got a white shirt on, I guess. I don't know. I'm going running. Is Dortch worth a pickup? I suppose. I'm not breaking the bank on him. I'd pick him up for free. I look like a cook. I mean, I guess standing out in front of a restaurant with a white shirt on, as if I was in the kitchen cooking up. But what I'm cooking up is fantasy 24/7. That's right. I am a cook. I am a cook. I am the one who cooks. I'm cooking up fantasy content 24/7, baby. Derrick Henry, Ford, Dalvin Cook, and Brandon Ayuk. I mean, I don't want either one of them. I don't care about Brandon Ayuk, and I don't want either one of those running backs. So go get a different one, but it's okay. I mean, you're swapping risk, bro. I mean, they're both not performing. I cook better than Russ. Thank you. I'm a fantasy chef. Smitty currently one. That's too long. Hold on. No, you're a YouTube exclusive member. I'm going to answer this one. 1-1. Thinking I need an upgrade. 10-team half PPR CD. Sutton, Eckler, Javonte, Hawkinson, Deontay. Yeah, I mean, Sutton's a good sell high. Eckler, you can't sell high. Javonte, you can't sell high. Deontay, Godwin, you have no sell high candidates, though. Unfortunately, you have to wait. Would I give CD and Sanders? No one's going to do that, but CD and Sanders for, I don't know, like Higgins or something. Yeah, I'd do that. I mean, you literally have to wait for some of these guys to gain value. Unfortunately, I wish there was a better way, but no one's buying low on any of those guys because they're struggling. But I don't think that they'll all stay struggling. I just think, CD, that was definitely a mat. Like people that lost CD Lamb's value, it's almost hard to recover from. You can do it, especially if you get into like a Higgins or a St. Brown or you did some crafty in the beginning. You reacted very fast. You could buy a buy low guy right now. You could go out, you could trade like a CD for an MT and Kenneth Walker or something crazy, and then it ends up working out really well for you. Wolf, Herbert, Cup, Diggs, MT, ETN, Akers, Kittle, Higbee, Aman Ra, Devontae, Madison, Rashad White. Any trades? You're 2-0. You're 2-0, but you need running backs, bro. Kittle and ETN are. I'm sorry, Akers and ETN aren't going to get it done. I mean, you can still keep carrying your team with Diggs, Cup, and Herbert. I mean, it's possible you do. I would try trading. I mean, Cup and Diggs are just fine. Try trading MT and Akers for a Kamara, or I mean, sorry, try going after Chase, bro. I'm seeing people say Chase is a bust, and for that reason, I know that people might take an MT and an Akers. Don't trade Waddle for Paul Pierce. Okay, I agree. Let me go down to the bottom. How concerned are you with Hackett Smitty? Very concerned. GR, thank you for being an exclusive member. I'm gonna answer for now for the next couple of minutes. I'm gonna answer questions that are in green. Those are my YouTube exclusive members. You can get that by clicking the join button on my YouTube homepage and getting that $1.99. Can we still trust Tua next week against the Bills? Yes. It's going to be a little bit more of a risky play, but yeah. I want to trade JJ because I hate Cousins. You can just make sure you get something massive, bro. You're getting like that Kamara and a wide receiver. Buffalo defense will have more points. Pierce 100%. I'm not sure what that was referring to. Best Buy lows. We'll have a video on that, but I've already mentioned a lot of them. Kyle Pitts, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Javonte, Alvin Kamara, Swift. There's a load of them, bro. Running back one season still coming for Javonte. I agree. Running back. What running back can I get for Higgins? Need a running back. Brees Hall and something, or you could package more in and try and go after the Camaras and Ecklers. Kamara and Eckler will be two of the best buy low running backs for this week. And this is now is the time. You won't be able to do this again. Week 2, week 3, week 1. After these weeks, usually you have a very, very short window of time to buy a couple big names, and it'll be the last opportunity. That's why I said get Tyreek Hill before week 2, because you would have one opportunity, one chance to strike and get Tyreek Hill before his value completely tripled. And now you have no shot. Even if you over offer, you can't get Tyreek Hill. I'm in like 12 leagues, Mr. TD. Should I hold Curtis or try and sell? I mean, hold him if you can't sell him high. Cup dropped. DD Red Solo Cup dropped 200 points literally in my league. Non-Superflex 3 wideouts. Nice job. Eckler and Sutton for Chase and Pierce. That's really close. I'd probably rather have the Eckler side, but it's really close, and that could change on me in a drop of a hat, bro. I want to swap crappy DK for another underperforming wide receiver. Go after Higgins. if you want to swap out. Mookie says got $100 league 2-0 Superflex. I got Josh Allen, Naji, Jefferson, Devonte Adams, Pittman, Andrews, Kirk. Nice team. I look to get Naji into one of these other running backs that's a buy low like Eckler. You didn't say it, Eckler, right? Yeah, I would go after Eckler, man. He's a fantastic target for you. Still sell Naji, absolutely. Buy low. I mean, you could, but I don't know. I'd buy at the right price, but I feel like he's just, I mean, he didn't do anything again, and I just worry about the offensive line on top of his injury. So it feels like a bad combination of everything. Who are you trying to get for Curtis Samuel? Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce would be good targets. Last week I scored 96 points and won. This week I scored 164 and lost. That's crazy, Roger. Keep up. Keep on keeping on. You got a good team, obviously. What about wide receiver for Henderson? Go after Higgins. Go after yeah, Higgins would be my top. He's my top wide receiver mid-range to go after. There's not a lot of guys in the middle there. Chase Edmonds dropped now. Not a drop. I would try and trade him. He had value to trade last week. It's one of my bigger sell highs, but you could still maybe get rid of him. We'll have to see. Tough to drop him, but it depends on who you can pick up. Garrett Wilson, yeah, I would do that if you're forced, if he's your worst player. Value of Ayuk and J-Rob. J-Rob's got some value. Like if you wanted to go after Damian Pierce, I bet you could probably get that done in a lot of leagues where people don't realize Damian Pierce still looks really good. They just look at the box score. Naji for Eckler, straight up in a heartbeat, take Eckler. Trade, you told me to do Smith, Waddle for Pierce. I did the trade Waddle for Pierce. Well, when did you ask me to do that though? Before the game? Because Waddle exploded. So Waddle had a fantastic game, so he's going to look a lot different today than he looks tomorrow. And I don't know if that was a straight up trade because, I mean, Waddle was banged up, so it was probably a very different question when he was out. You know what I mean? In week one, he's back. Things look very different for him. But Pierce could still earn that value. You got to give him a chance. Don't sell him or anything. St. Brown season, absolutely. Absolutely. Hollywood and James Conner trade value. Not a lot, bro. Not a lot, but maybe you couple them with something, you get something big. Yeah, you know, values change from week to week, and when a guy's out and not playing, you know, and Waddle's not in the game, it's easy to second guess a player's value, but I mean things change, bro. Waddle's definitely worth more right now. He had a monster game. 0-2, but don't give up on Pierce. Don't give up on him, bro. Eckler for Naji and Gabe Davis. Eckler for Naji and Gabe Davis. Eckler for Naji and Gabe Davis. I take Eckler. Henry and Andrews. No, you need more than Andrews for Henry. I mean, that's the right idea. You probably just have to get something added to that. 0-2 with Mixon, Cook, Higgins, Sutton, and Mike Williams. Maybe look to explore trading Mike Williams on the high and trading Cook. You know, try and get Eckler. Latest strategy on losing Lance. I mean, depends on who's on waivers, bro. Smash that like. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Rashad Penny, droppable. Depends on who you can pick up, but in general, yes. Burkhead, Gainwell, Rashad, Burkhead are drops for Garrett Wilson. A pickup. If I had to drop one, I would probably say Gainwell. What did Gainwell finish with tonight? Kamara owner is 0-2 right now, and he's struggling hard with 3 players out. Just sent my team on the last super chat. What is something I can send him? Oh, Wolf, you're going to make me go all the way up there. Hold on. It's going to take a while. Trying to include everything in the question if you can. Otherwise, it's really, really tough on the stream because then I got to try and find it. And if it's way up there, then hold on. Okay, here it is. I found it. Herbert, Cup, Diggs, MT, ETN. Akers, Kittle, Higbee, Amari. Okay, so MT, ETN, Akers, Kittle. MT, ETN, Akers, Kittle. MT, Akers, ETN, Kittle. MT, Akers, ETN, Kittle. I'm trying to remember that too by reading your question. MT, Akers, ETN, Kittle. So MT and ETN for Kamara and something, and I'd even quietly do that without. I'd probably just do it anyway, but I'd try and get something. I would try and give him MT for Kamara. And if you can give up like Akers, so MT and Akers, can you give up MT and Akers? That's what I do. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, Damian Pierce is just getting started. Whoever said that, who is it that said that they traded Waddle? Yeah, Pierce is gonna look good. Just give him time. Do we drop TDP? Probably right now. I mean, it's the combination of him and Jordan Mason. And obviously now it's Jordan Mason only. I think will be the eventual better start. Mystic says Eckler and Sutton for Tyrell and Naji. Is that Tyreek? If it's Tyreek and Naji, I take Tyreek and Naji in a heartbeat. Pierce for Edmonds, I take Pierce in a heartbeat. Sutton, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel for JJ. You take JJ, and you're not going to get that though, Samdu. That's a pipe dream, but try it. Najee for Mixon straight up. I'd rather get a little bit with Mixon because I think you can because Mixon is struggling too. So it's not like you're upgrading there in the other person's mind. Mixon and Waller for Devontae Adams and Kittle. Mixon and Waller, I take Adams and Kittle. Hurts and Gabe Davis for Jamar Chase. I take Jamar Chase probably depending on your quarterback play though. Like if you're going down to a garbage quarterback, then I'd probably say no. Are we selling on Aaron Jones high? If you can get a ton for him, yes. But if you're winning, if your team's good, then no, don't trade away Aaron Jones unless somebody comes and gives you an offer you can't refuse. Bateman or Pierce, probably pretty even depending on what position you need. I'd be okay with either side depending on position of need. Drop Devin Singletary for Garrett Wilson or Brian Robinson. I would take Garrett Wilson first for sure. He's the top waiver wire ad, but you will see Brian Robinson in my top 5 ads for week number 3. You have Herbert. Okay, if you have Herbert and you're only starting one QB, then yeah, I suppose I make that trade. You're giving away a big gun though. And Hurts, I love Hurts, but like you could use Jamar Chase, right? That'd be a pretty good move for you, I think, given your depth. I mean, in that kind of league. Michael says need an upgrade at wide receiver. Got Hurts, Tua, Swift, Javonte, Pollard, Higgins, Mike Williams, Dotson, Lazard, Knox, likely upgrade at wide receiver. Don't trade Swift or Javonte. Pollard's looking really good. You could trade Pollard. I like Higgins and Mike Williams, to be honest. I think you have pretty good wide receivers like that are undervalued, but I would probably sell Mike Williams on the high. Man, Higgins would be my target. You already got him. I don't know. What are some other wide receivers he can target, guys? Let's toss out some names for him. Who's around the Higgins level? Gibson and Robinson for Pierce and Freiermuth. That's pretty even. I'd take Freiermuth and Pierce probably, but that's even. It's pretty close. TDP, high ankle sprain, Mason, good pickup. Yes, he's an absolute good pickup, but I would try not to drop Burkhead. He's still a pretty decent hold. But Jordan Mason, Brian Robinson, and Garrett Wilson will probably all be in the top 5 of the pickups of this week. What combo of these guys would you trade? It's from Zach. Trade for AJ Brown, ETN, Hollywood, Bateman, Mike Williams, or do you think I could get Pitts from him in a deal as well? I would love to get Pitts for ETN or Hollywood, or ETN and Hollywood. I would trade AJ Brown. I would probably trade Bateman for Pitts too, but that's me. Maybe a week from now I won't want to do that, but I think Pitts is very undervalued if you need a tight end. And I think people are freaking out about a guy that you drafted in the freaking third round, late third round, and you're willing to discard him. And I don't understand it. I would not do that. I'm going after Kyle Pitts in all formats. T. Higgins is so underrated. Exactly. Who are some wide receivers that are right around T. Higgins level? St. Brown's ahead of him, Austin. He's ahead of him. I don't think he's even close. With TDP, high ankle sprain, Mason a good pickup. Yes, he is. Sutton's kind of close, I suppose. Debo's a little higher ranked than Higgins, I think. Allen Robinson, D. Pierce, a good trade. I mean, yeah, you could argue either side of that. McLaurin, I don't know. Is McLaurin really there anymore? That wide receiver room's so packed, bro. Waddle's a good one. He might be a touch higher than Higgins, but who's like a little bit below Higgins? A.J. Brown, maybe. So A.J. Brown, Waddle, Higgins, they're all kind of like they're the only guys below Tyreek Hill. Sutton's probably a little below those guys. There aren't a lot. There's not a lot of wiggle room for a player in that tier for wide receivers. Mike Williams feels a little lower. He's kind of like Sutton. I think Sutton and Mike Williams are a little bit below Higgins. Godwin, no thank you. No thank you. Evans, yeah, I suppose, especially with the suspension. I don't like. I know you like him double D red, but I'm not a Chris Godwin believer. Chris Godwin's been on my no draft list, and he's already out. Sutton, everybody seems to love Sutton, and with Judy kind of banged up, he's a pretty good wide receiver right now. So it's a good one. CeeDee Lamb has fallen into that range. That's a good one. That's a good solution for people that need a wide receiver and they're giving up like a J Rob and a Curtis Samuel. Maybe you do get CeeDee Lamb. 265 in here, only 106 thumbs up, says Terry with a very shocked expression on his face. Maybe Kyle Pitts. Yeah, Kyle Pitts is my biggest go-get player. My biggest go-get player right now. Rookie wide receivers are balling out. Yeah, Garrett Wilson, London looking really, really good right now. Olave. Exhausted. A migraine up the back of my freaking head, too. I was gonna run. I don't think I'm gonna run. My head's pounding. Got a massive migraine. I don't get migraines very often, but man, my head is throbbing. Saquon Kamara and Connor owner Daryl Williams. What is that? What is that question? Daryl Williams worth the number one waiver wire? No, I don't know. I mean, I think he's on the list, but I think Benjamin still looks really good too. Avi, Mike Williams, Waller, Curtis Samuel for D. London, Hopkins, Hawkinson. No, give me Waller, Mike Williams side, I suppose, but I'm assuming it's redraft. Yeah, I just think you're missing too much value. I should pick up Willis. I mean, I talk about Willis every week, Roger, about picking him up every single week. Yes, grab him. If you are targeting Pitts, I trademark. Who else would be looking to get Pitts plus for Andrews? You might have to give me a list of the players he has because I can't really, that's hard for me to know. I'm gonna get some Higgins for J Rob. Definitely do that. Curtis Samuel and J Rob for Higgins. A lot of people that have J Rob have Higgins or Curtis Samuel. It's weird. I have a lot of J Rob and Curtis Samuel pairings for some weird reason. I bet you have him, Nathan. Hawkinson is time to move on. I mean, not cut him, but who's going to buy him though? So you're kind of held in limbo. Are we trusting Zeke against? No. Pollard is the answer. Pollard's been the answer the whole offseason. He's a moon man for a reason. Javonte for ETN and Elijah Moore or Olave. What? Robert, if I have my take a lap button, Robert, I have a horn. I mean, come on. Javonte for ETN and Elijah Moore, or like, first of all, Olave over Elijah Moore right now. But like ETN is benchable right now. You're gonna trade. You literally, Robert. No offense, but you literally asked me, should you trade Javonte for two guys that I'm telling you to put on your bench, and ETN and Elijah Moore until further notice. Don't drop them, but put them on your bench. No, no, kind sir. Zachary or Zach, Mike Williams, Gibson, Jacoby Myers for Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams. Bro, you're not getting that. Try. If you do, we'll take a lap in celebration if you can pull that off. Javonte side by a mile. Go take rest, Smitty. We need you. Focus for tomorrow. Thank you. Henry plus Schultz for Kelsey. Henry Schultz for Kelsey. Honestly, I'd rather have Kelsey right now. Schultz is, he's got the MCL, man. I don't know how long he's going to be out. He could play, but if he plays, he probably gets hurt. Smitty, I need an emergency phone call, please. Scotty Deuce says, um, order away and then send me your number and email, and I'll after you order, I'll call you real quickly. What could I get MT Curtis Samuel and Daryl Henderson? What could you get for MT Curtis Samuel and Daryl Henderson? MT Curtis Samuel, Daryl Henderson, Higgins. And maybe you don't like that because MT and Higgins could be close, I suppose. But Jamar Chase, that could get you Jamar Chase. MT Curtis Samuel and Henderson should get you Jamar Chase. Football Junkie says, Lost Lance, thank you for the $10 hauler, bro. Lost Lance waivers are Flacco, Goff, Mariota, Mills, Jimmy. Trade for Brady, who is on the bench for that owner team is Swift. I don't know who you could trade him. I suppose you could give him, Dobbins. I'd trade Dobbins for Brady in a heartbeat. I don't know that Dobbins is gonna. He had such a bad knee injury, bro. I don't think he's coming back from that this year. He's gonna play, but I don't think he's rebounding. Thank you, Mick. I appreciate your support, bro. Dak was dropped in my league. Should I drop Wentz and grab him? No, I don't think Dak's some big grab. And Football Junkie, just to give you on the list of players, I would probably grab Davis Mills. I don't care if he didn't have a touchdown in week 2. He's still the better option there. Javonte equals Javonte Williams, says Miguel. I do believe Javonte will get there. I owe child support. What's that got to do with anything? Says 28 trains. I don't know what that means. Should I trade Aaron Jones for Javonte? I would rather have Javonte, but I wouldn't blame anybody for wanting Aaron Jones. They're very, very close right now while we figure out Nathaniel Hackett, so I can understand. Henry Schultz for Kelsey. I'd rather have Kelsey. Waddle and Cooper for Amon Ra, St. Brown, and Javonte. I take Amon Ra. I take Javonte and Amon Ra over 2 Waddles and a Cooper. Like Amon Ra is better than Waddle, or at least equal. You could argue equal. I could get behind that if you really wanted to argue that. I don't have him as equal. I have Amon Ra ahead of him. But then you got the other Javonte versus what? JT for JJ and Connor. I'd rather have JT. Get someone else too. A TDP high ankle sprain. Is Mason a good pickup? He absolutely is, GR. I think you've asked that a couple times. I got you. Fantasy emergency. I love it. Smitty traded J. Rob, Samuel, and Komet for CHDK and Pitts. Come on. You got all that, bro? That's crazy. I would have done that for half of that, or like a couple different variations of just one player. That's crazy, bro. Scotty Do, I'll send you on your Instagram, Smitty, right now. I'll send it on your Instagram, Smitty, right now. Well, I have the phone service, if that's what you're talking about, on my thefantasyfootballshow.com. If you purchase a call in there, it gets you a place to put your phone number in. Payne, appreciate you becoming a loyal member of the exclusive YouTube membership. Payne, I don't know if you're a member of the $9.99 plan, but if you are, we get on Zoom calls at halftime of the morning games and halftime of the evening game. You can just listen and turn your mic and your camera off, or you can participate. It is totally up to you, but appreciate you. Scotty Do, appreciate you. I have B-Rob as a handcuff. And Scotty Do, if you drop, I'll tell you what, Scotty Do, if you drop another, because those calls are 15 or whatever, if you drop another, like, I don't know, 10 or whatever, I'll just message you on IG after, okay? If that works better for you. I have B-Rob as a handcuff. Jalen Hurts is dropping fire. He absolutely is. Mama, I made it. You made it. You made it, Payne. You tell your mama you made it. I just traded away Dalvin Cook and Renfro for Javonte Williams and Devontae Smith. I like that. Dalvin Cook worries me way more than Hackett worries me. GR, appreciate you. Trade Swift and ETN for Mixon, Higgins, and Kirk. Swift and Evans for Mixon, Higgins, and Kirk. I'd rather have Swift and Evans, even with Evans missing a game. It's arguable though. Waddle, what is that question? Waddle for what? Waddle for which running back? Kamara, Eckler. You might have to give a little bit more to get like an Eckler, but you should and still consider that strongly. Biggest buy low running back, it's Kamara, Eckler, probably Eckler. Can I join fantasy now? Can I join a fantasy now? I don't know what that means, Emmanuel. Appreciate you though. Any moves? Hollywood Bateman. I would consider something Bateman high. I like Bateman. I'm not saying don't. Look who lost Trey Lance and maybe Tua and Bateman for like one player like Kyle Pitts or something like that, bro. You got Andrews. Then for like a Higgins or something like that. Phil, welcome to the YouTube exclusive membership. If you got the $199, that's amazing and nothing wrong with that. You got the emojis now. I'm going to see your questions more with the green, which is what I'm trying to target here right now. And on top of that, if you do the $9.99, you can downgrade, upgrade anytime. You get the Zoom call access where we jump on a Zoom call. So appreciate you, my man. You're the man. You're the man, man. I traded Naji last week for Waddle and Aaron Jones. Nice job, bro. Went 0-6 in the league last year. You helped me get to second loss because of a kicker and missed a negative points. That sucks, bro. Phil, I appreciate you being a YouTube exclusive member. Truly do. Biggest buy low running back. Again, Eckler's probably that guy. God, my migraine is killing me. Oh, my God. Kenny, for the super chat, appreciate you. Smitty, appreciate your passion and enthusiasm for fantasy football. You are by far my favorite dude on the internet to chat with about football. Thank you. And I'm always trying to do my best, man. I'm not always going to be right, but I'll at least come in here and try and change and adapt and adjust, and more importantly, bring you the news on the Monday through Friday show from a little bit of a biased perspective. Of course, I'm a talking head to a degree for sure, but there's a little bit of everything here on the channel. And you don't always have to agree with me. Everybody just needs to be respectful of everybody in the chat. That's all I ask for. Sometimes I get a little crazy with some of my takes and such, but it comes from a good place. And I'm not just out here to entertain. I am trying to help you win your league, and I think we do a good job for the most part. And I'm trying to pump people, pump people down a little bit because they're getting all amped up and ready to trade away some of their best talent. We need to buy low, sell high, properly and appropriately and safely. I dropped Tua for Wentz to block my opponent who lost Dak and had Matty Ice with no wide receivers. At least I still won. Yeah, that's rough though. You get a little. The karma usually gets you, bro. The karma gods usually take care of that when you try and get a little bit shady. And I understand it. I've done it before. One time, my buddy, especially, it depends on the environment you're into. You got to know your league, and are you in a cutthroat league like that, or are you not? If you go do that in your work league or something, you're going to lose a lot of friends, and people are going to get mad at you. But if you're in a league with your buddies where you guys are all, busting each other's chops constantly, and you're in that league, I in that league before, I picked up every single kicker and dropped the same guy. That way he was held on waivers. I picked up every single kicker. There were like 15 kickers, and he just kept waiting until the morning. He thought he was going to come in the morning and pick up a kicker. The night before at midnight, I picked up using my kicker. I left the one that I wanted last, and I picked up and dropped every single kicker because it was one of those leagues. It was a cutthroat league. He was so mad. He was laughing, but he was so mad, and I think the karma gods got me. And the kicker I dropped initially ended up scoring huge. And trade options for Hopkins and J. Rob and Dotson. Hopkins, J. Rob, Dotson. Higgins would be a great target. Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker. Maybe not for all those guys, but those are definitely guys I'm going after. Pierce, Damian Pierce, Kyle Pitts would be phenomenal with that package right there. I'd probably give up all three of them for Kyle Pitts. Avi says Cooper Kupp, JJ Diggs, Tyreek, Jamar Chase, Tay Adams, Debo, AJ Brown, Waddle, St. Brown, wide receivers for the fantasy. That's your ranking. Kupp, JJ Diggs, Tyreek, Chase, Tay Adams, Debo. I could get behind. I mean, that you could go. I could go 100 different ways with that. That's pretty good though, bro. I think everybody's ranking would be different. I think people would be like, how do you not have Adams higher? How do you not have you know JJ one or how is Jamar Chase that low? I don't like Jamar Chase at all on the top. People go all over the place. AJ Brown's injury prone. Waddle should be up there in the 7. Like St. Brown's not in the top 6. What's wrong with you? You drop rankings, you get people all up and down down your throat. Who would you trade Justin Jefferson for Chubb, McLaurin, and Renfro? No. I don't think McLaurin and Renfro are even in the conversation of being good enough pieces to make that hole on that side of the scale. Is Mooney a buy low or is he dead? He's not dead. He's alive. He's just not getting production. Look, there's an easy answer for this. The Bears suck. But if the Bears turn it around a little bit and throw the football, then Mooney's going to thrive. It's all about the fact that Fields had like 70 yards passing. That's not Mooney's fault. Mooney can't do anything with that. Now, that's a point of concern to where you put Mooney on the bench. But you have to be smart about it, and you can't cut him. When I trade, let's see, I'm getting behind on these questions. There's 266 of you in here, only 130 thumbs up. So please punch that button. For those that are new, that have never seen the show before, I don't do it from my car or out and about, but once a week. I do this to get out of the studio. The monotony of being in the studio all the time, especially at the end of a week when I'm trying to decompress and if you don't know me, you'll soon know that I go live all the time. So I'm always in my studio. My studio is phenomenal. It's, in my opinion, the best studio around. I've worked really hard to get it to where it is, and it's a place I love to be. But occasionally, I need to like release all this like bad, negative, vibes from a week. And sometimes this coming out here and talking like this out in the open. I'm in my car now. I was outside. I don't know if my phone is charged up enough. Let me look real quick. I think it's probably charged a little bit. But I oftentimes come out here. My head is killing me. I'm probably gonna have to end it a little bit because my migraine is just like massive. But I try and like get outside and just get. I mean, I'm a introvert too because I work from home. I work in my studio all day long, and so like I do need to get out once in a while. And you get like just you feel boxed up. I do get out for food like once a day, but it feels good to be outside once in a while. A lot of people say that I look like I don't get any sun either, and that's kind of true. I'm about as white as a ghost. Okay, last like couple minutes, and then I'm gonna bounce. I think we've been live for an hour. Normally I go a little longer than this, but sell high and Gibson, I certainly do sell high and Gibson. I'm gonna try and do speed round. So ask one sentence questions. If it's more than one sentence, I might pass it. Kelsey for Pitts and McLaurin, give me Kelsey. I love Pitts though. Trey Cook for Henry. Trey Dalvin. Yeah, I guess I'd take Henry, but I don't know. Both are pretty tough. Trey Fournette for Javonte. Take Javonte in a heartbeat. Do Monty, Kirk, and Swift. I take Swift. Waddle for Javonte. Take Javonte. Hawkinson and Pollard for Pitts. Yeah, take Pitts. Smitty, Kamara, Henderson for Javonte and Gabe Davis. Give me Javonte and Gabe Davis. Panic on ETN, yeah, and put him on your bench, but you can't really sell him. No one's buying unless you get some kind of creative package. When can we start Walker? Probably in another week or two, but it depends on how thin you are. Brown and God, these are going quick. Trade Aaron Jones in a standard league. It depends what you can get. I'd trade anybody high. Aaron Jones for Naji Harris. I'd rather have Aaron Jones right now. JJ for Mooney. JJ. Swift for Chase. I'd rather have Swift right now, but I could go back and forth depending on positional need. You start London or McLaurin next week. Probably London right now. Naji for Kamara and Hollywood. I'll probably take Kamara and Hollywood. Best waiver wire running back. Brian Robinson, because he's coming back soon, I think. ETN for Pierce. I'd rather have Pierce, the Pierce side. J-Rob for Gibson. J-Rob and A-Rob for Gibson. Higgins. Give me the Higgins side. Aaron Jones for Javonte and Garrett Wilson. Give me Javonte and Garrett Wilson. Dak or Jimmy week 7, I have Schultz. I mean, if Dak was back, I'd probably go Dak, but I mean, we don't know when Dak's going to truly be back and be ready to go. Will he get rust? So, like, I don't know if that question's for you meant for later. Olave or Garrett Wilson, give me Garrett Wilson, but both should do pretty well. Zeke or Ramondre, I mean, if I had to pick, like in a vacuum, I'd say Ramondre is going to be worth more, but like, can you still trade Zeke a little higher than Ramondre? Probably. So, like, that would be a factor. McLaurin or Dotson, give me McLaurin, but it could be close, I suppose. Wentz or Goff with Burrow. Uh, give me. I mean, you have Burrow, so you're saying who should you have? Probably Wentz. Bro, you kidding me? All right, then peace, bro. What do you mean, What do you mean, McKay? What are you talking about, McKay? Re-ask your question. I'm not sure what you mean. Pollard, good flex. That question went by. Pollard, good flex against the Giants. Yeah, I like Pollard. Looking for McKay's reposing of his question. Mike Williams, sell high? Certainly. Depends on for what, but yes, I would sell him high. You skipped my question like 7 times. McKay, do you see how fast the chat's going, bro? You know, like, think about it for a second. Like, how on earth am I gonna be like? I'm answering and I'm reading out loud and answering the question, and I'm going as fast as I can, and then like 5 or 10 go by. So you just gotta have to ask it again. And now I missed all these questions trying to explain it, but you should know that. You should know me by now. If you don't know me by now, McKay, I'm not gonna skip you on purpose, bro. Like, why am I gonna do that? Trade Mixon for Naji. I'd rather have Mixon right now, but I'd try and get more because you can. Um, Herbert and Keenan Allen will be fine. My Mahomes and Mike Williams for Burrow and Cup. My Mahomes for Burrow. My Mahomes for Mike Williams and Burrow. I mean, Burrow and Cup by a wide margin. All right, let me look for McKay's question. McKay, I'm looking in here. I'm looking. I'm trying to keep you happy. I'm doing my best. As Mom says, I do the best I can. Okay? I don't see it, McKay. I don't see it. I scrolled through like 15 people. I don't see it. Sell Sutton high, absolutely, but only high. Drake London or Christian Kirk? Drake London for me, but very close. McKay asked 7-part question. Okay. Welcome to the Loyalty YouTube exclusive membership. Look for if you're doing the $9.99 plan, look for the links in the community tab. Halftime of the morning games is when I drop that link, okay? Make sure you know that. Halftime, go to that community tab. You'll see the post. Trey Michael Thomas for MVS. My guess is McCabe's dropping a very big question. It's good. Don't mean to stress you. Have a good night. McKay, I'm here for you. I'm looking for your question. It's got to be short. This is a speed round. JJ and Pitts for AJ Brown, Goddard, and Deontay. JJ and Pitts for AJ Brown, Goddard, and Deontay. Take JJ and Pitts in a heartbeat, bro. All right. I love you, Smitty. Thank you. Appreciate you. I think I'm done. I've got a migraine. I don't think I can answer any more questions. I've been doing it it's only been 63 minutes. I get it. But I feel like I'm going to have an aneurysm. It's like right here now. And it's like, oh my God. I'm sorry. I'd answer more if I could. I can answer McKay's real quick if McKay would just ask his question real quick. McKay, I'm going to look right now for 1 minute only, and then I'm out of here. 1 minute only, McKay. If I see your question, I'm going to answer it. Okay? I want to prove to you that I'm not skipping you. Trade Mike Thomas for Michael Thomas for MVS and CD and JK. Michael Thomas and MVS. I'll take Michael Thomas over. No, I'll take CD. Take the CD side. Good night, everybody. I probably missed McKay's question because I was scrolling. I just love how people think like I'm out to get them or something. KCM, get some sleep, Smitty. Appreciate you. Like, some people get so mad at me. It's like, what do you think I'm not trying my hardest out here? Like, I handed my phone to somebody one time at a meet. We did a meet and greet live stream, and I handed my phone. I think it was Sam Beach. Who's Sam Beach? He changed his name, and I forget who he is now. But I handed the phone to Sam Beach, and I let him take over the live stream. I was at a meet and greet. I handed the phone to him. I walked away. He ran my show. for about 2.5 minutes. He handed it back to me, and he said he almost like had a heart attack. Just trying to answer questions and come up with an answer, and then go back to the chat, scroll through, pause it. Like he was like, this is unbelievable, unbelievably stressful. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, people that don't understand how hard it is to get to everybody on top of talking well and trying to keep flow going. Like when I did my 24-hour live stream, I would do it differently this time around. I've done two of them, but I remember the first one, I felt like I only had like 11 to like 14 people on the live stream. And when I would pause for a minute, like when I didn't like roll with content, like I am right now, I'm not pausing at all. I'm just kind of flowing with it. It's an art form, right? When I paused at all, I'd see it drop from like 14 to 12. And then when it would get under 10, this is when I first started. It was my first month. And I did a 24-hour live stream. We had 10 people in the live chat constantly. And I remember it drop under 10, and I'd just be like, oh my God, I'm not talking enough. And it was crazy for 24 hours to try and that pressure of talking without people. I'm in Phoenix. I don't know. I missed McKay's question already, I think. Let me scroll through. I don't see it. I'm going like 15, 20 questions up. Let's go 40. I don't see McKay's question. I don't see McKay. I'm looking for it, bro. I'm looking for it. I don't see it. Maybe you pasted it in over and over, and it got. Mr. TD joined the YouTube exclusive membership. Again, anybody that joined that $9.99, you will see a link in the community tab at halftime of the morning games. So at halftime of the morning games, go straight to the community tab if you join the $9.99 plan, and you can upgrade, downgrade at any time. The links to the Zoom calls will be right there. CD Lamb or Garrett Wilson, give me CD Lamb. CD Lamb. And on that note, I appreciate that super chat. Who was that? Torres, my boy Torres. Thank you, Mr. TD. Oh my God, my head's gonna explode. Thank you, KCM. Thank you, all of you, for your super chats. Appreciate you all. Thank you all for your comments, your support. I'll see you tomorrow for the live premiere of the Week 3 waiver wire show. Probably will be about 11 a.m. Eastern. I could be late with it because my head's pounding, and I might film it in the morning and be a little late. If that's the case, I apologize. But I will see you all tomorrow for Week 3 waiver wire. Breaking news. If news breaks, I'll go live, and then my 7 p.m. show. Later.